quickly, I know you've done this a ton in the past in the minors, but how quickly do you feel like you're taking to that?
Yeah, like you mentioned, luckily I was able to do it. You know, in the minor leagues, I led off I think every game I ever played in the minor leagues. So I know the routine that kind of goes into it, and as a leadoff guy, my job is to try and find a way on base, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job of that. So and it's easy when we're putting up, the amount of runs we're putting up, and we have the guys that are behind me. It's easy to just go up there and try to pass the torch.
The obvious level of pitching being that much better up here, like, is there anything that's different about leading off in the minors versus here that's been different for you?
No, it's still baseball to me. I think it's the same game. So for me, it's just the goal remains the same as it was in the minor leagues. It's just try and find a way on and try to set the tone as the leadoff guy. And I think that's big when you can find ways on, especially early in the game. And like I said, it feels like every time that I find a way on, somebody finds a way to drive a ball in the gap or get me over and get me in. So it's fun. We're playing good baseball.
What does it allow Jarren to do in the 3-hole?
I think we saw this last few days what it's allowed him to do. It's freed him up, and when like I said, I'm just trying to get on base for him and for the guys behind me. And I think when you do that and you set the tone as a leadoff guy, you give a guy like Jarren, who's so damn good, the ability to just drive in runs and kind of free up and not really have to think about it, and then just drive runs in. And he did a great job of that.
How much confidence does it give you when you get a hit like you did the other night off a guy like Duran, 101 mile an hour, not an easy pitch to hit, just to find a way to get a hit against a guy like that?
Yeah, it was great. I got to give the credit there to Hammy though. Stealing second, stealing third. Again, it's just like I just said, it frees you up. It makes it a lot easier as a hitter. When you got a guy on third who's as fast as Hammy is and who does what Hammy does. I was just trying to put the ball in play.
You seem to like the situational spots that aren't always easy. Man on third, less than 2 outs. Is that something you kind of pride yourself on?
Yeah, I think every at bat I'm just trying to find a way to drive in a run, or if there's nobody on, just to find a way on, like I mentioned, as the leadoff guy. But I'm just trying to get on base any way I can. Anytime I get in the box, all I'm trying to do is get on base.
You mentioned trying to get on base. That's obviously your objective, but what goes into your approach as far as your thinking? Do you try to ambush the first pitch you see? You try to be patient? What kind of goes into that first at-bat?
Yeah, I think there's a good mix, as the leadoff guy, understanding that, you can set the tone if you go and ambush the first pitch, and, you can really get the guys going. But at the same time, there is something to seeing a lot of pitches and trying to see 3 or 4 different pitches. And even if you come back and you ground out or whatever it may be, you get out and you come back and you're able to tell the guy on deck or the guy in the hole, hey, I saw all 3 pitches and here's what it's doing. And little things like that help a lot too. So for me, I'm trying to see a lot of pitches, but at the same time, find that balance of getting the pitch that I can hit and doing damage on it, and if not, taking my walks.
Okay. No game tomorrow, day of the trade deadline. How closely will you keep tabs on things versus going to do literally anything else?
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much. I don't really. I know that we have guys doing, that's what they do for a living, and they're scouting and doing what they do. So I'm confident that they'll make the right decision, and it's exciting to see what will happen.